And of course, he's for years guitar for Skid Row. Snake joining us on the line. Dave Sabo. Snake, thanks for joining us, my man. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction. Thank you so much.
You bet. Oh, you guys are awesome. I've been listening to you guys for years.
Thank you.
You've been playing Vegas for a very, very long time, Snake, right? I would imagine you enjoy coming out here, right?
We have it's tough to get us to leave. We have to we sit there and we just did the residency out there with the Scorpions.
Right.
And we went away kicking and screaming because we had such an amazing time. And the first time we were there was Thomas and Mack Center in 1989 with Bon Jovi, and we just couldn't believe the response that we received as a support act. And so it's always on our to-do list whenever we're putting a tour together to make sure that we get out there. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, the Scorpions residency was. We were so fortunate to be able to partake in that, and those shows were phenomenal. So yeah, we're looking back. We're looking forward to coming back and with this package and with the bands that we have with us, because they're all old friends of ours, and all of them have great, memorable songs. So it's a really great night out, I think, for everybody.
Absolutely. And Sunset Station is a great place to see a show. No doubt about that. Now, you mentioned some of the friends that you have. Gosh, you have so many friends in this business. And, I love talking to you a little bit about John Bon Jovi, because obviously you guys have been friends forever, right? Isn't it incredible, the friendship that you guys have had over the years?
I mean, we're still best buds. Like, we text or talk on the phone twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And we've been, it's been this way since I was 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And just the fact that, he's such an enormous superstar, and yet he still slums it with idiots like me.
Well, you know what I love, besides, of course, John, but his music and how talented he is, the man he is, right, Snake? I mean, the charity work that he does, the philanthropist that he is, just his empathy for people. I'm sure you can relate to that, knowing him as long as you have.
His benevolence is always under the radar, but he is such a contributor to so many different charitable organizations, and that created some of his own as well. And philanthropy has always played a big part in his mindset, and so it doesn't surprise me or shock me at all.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, it's just part of his DNA.
I have to ask you this, Snake. I mean, you are obviously a true musician, right? I have to ask you this, without bad mouthing anybody. Somebody on the strip that's a pop singer that lip syncs for 2 hours and they're making $300,000-400,000 a show. To somebody like you, a true musician who's been doing this for decades, how do you feel about that? The lip syncing era of the last, 10, 15 years.
Well, I mean, I think it from an ability standpoint, like a vocal ability or whatever standpoint, it makes you question it. But it doesn't really affect me all that much, to be honest. I don't think about it. I know a lot of people get all riled up and everything, and they're passionate, and I get it. For me, a person, an artist, is out there to entertain people. And if the entertainment aspect of it includes something like that, and the audience that paid to see them is okay with that, then as long as people know what they're getting into and understand it, and they're not offended by that or in any way, and they're just there to be entertained visually and sonically, and that works for them, then that's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold any significance within my life, because I know who we are, and we're a dirty rock band from New Jersey,
right,
that plays all our instruments and sings all the lyrics, and
right.
And that's not even a question. But as time goes on for some people, it may be more and more difficult to be able to hit the notes that you used to, or play the songs that you used to. And so if people need a little help here and there, then so be it. I'm not a judgmental person. My concern is just our band and
right.
how we portray ourselves. And
sure.
And that's really all that matters. Whatever anybody else does is not going to have any
Yeah.
effect on me one way or the other, as long as people are entertained.
Sure.
And I think in this day and age, we need to be entertained more now than we have in recent decades, with
Sure.
all the divisiveness and ill will
Right.
that's being put forth
Yeah.
in public.
You're
So
right about that.
I'm, I'm all about community, man. I'm all about bringing people together, and when we play our shows, especially in this with our new singer Eric,
He's great.
who's one of the most, he's phenomenal. He's one of the most energetic performers I ever been on stage with, and he just galvanizes people in such a way that you have a great sense of togetherness at our shows.
Yeah.
It's not like we're up here and you're down there. It's not like that at all. It's about we're all sharing in this same moment and this same electricity that is coexisting between audience and band.
Yeah, no question.
And when you make that connection, when we make that connection, which occurs nightly, it's really an amazing thing, and it's very, very humbling. And I'm so thankful that we get to after all these years, to still play music for a living for people that enjoy what we've done, hopefully enjoy what we're doing. As you're aware, we've just released a couple new tracks, and we have a new record coming out October 14th. So we're kind of putting in new stuff, interspersing with all the stuff that everybody knows, and it seems like it's working. I see smiles on people's faces, and I see people with their hands in the air and really living in the moment that we're all a part of. And that, to me, that's the reason why we do this.
And there's a reason why you guys have so many people coming out, because you guys make great music. You're still making great music, and you've been doing it for such a long time. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with the Snake himself, Dave Sabo, of course, originally from John Bon Jovi, and now Skid Row. They have a show tomorrow at Sunset Station, along with some other great bands, Warrant, Winger, Quiet Riot. Again, Sunset Station tomorrow night. All right, so you mentioned your fairly new lead singer. I'm sure you're probably sick of answering these questions, but I got to ask you one. Do you talk at all? Have you had any relationship with Sebastian Bach over the years recently?
Not at all. None.
Really? And so you guys can't even talk to each other? Nobody in the band?
No, we've all moved on.
Yeah.
That was an awful long time ago. We're talking 23 years ago, so that's an awful long time ago.
Yeah. No, listen, and listen, you guys aren't alone, right? There's so many bands that they make changes. Don't even get me started with Van Halen. I mean, we all know bands make changes. I get all that. Do you ever see down the road you got anybody in your band or you yourself, Snake, making amends and you guys having a conversation, or you don't see that happening at all?
You know what? I don't know, because I got to be honest. It's not something that I think about.
Yeah.
Truly, it's not something that I think about. My mind is always in the present and the here and now, and I'm thankful for everything that we've created. All the collective people who've been a part of Skid Row that we've all created since the very beginning up until now. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that I can have any sort of part of or control of is the right now. And it's the band that it is now. And we have a new record coming out. The gang's all here. And we have, I think we've made some really, really great music. I hope people feel the same way. But we're really proud of where we're at right now. We're really proud of the way we're playing and the tours that we're doing. And we're just going to keep moving forward. So that sort of, that conversation doesn't even enter my brain. To be honest.
No. And I understand that was a long time ago, but I had to ask you one about that. But let's look to the future now, and let's talk about music these days, right? Music has changed a lot over the years, but yet there are so many great bands when you guys came out that are still touring and making new music. What do you make about some of these artists? What do you make about some of these artists today? I mean, I saw John Legend, who's an unbelievable talent. I'm sure you would agree. I saw him on the Strip a few months back, and there are really a lot of great artists out there that deserve the accolades. I'm just curious, not necessarily going back to like the 80s and even 90s. Who are some of the artists that you listen to today that you admire? I'm curious.
Man, I love Exodus's new record. I love it. Mm-hmm. It's punishing. I love. I loved Adele's last record
Mhm.
to be on the complete opposite side of the spectrum.
You
Um,
listening to Adele? I never really pictured that.
Absolutely, man. I love. I think that what Billie Eilish has done is really great. But and Testament's new album is excellent. So there's a lot of people from all facets of music putting out great music that appeals to me. I don't just listen to one thing. I was raised in an environment where all different types of music before there was genre classifications on music, that it was just music. So
Mhm.
whether it was Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard, which became 50s, music, and even doo wop stuff,
Mm.
and then or like the Beatles and the Stones from the early '60s, moving into Motown and the Stax Records stuff, and R&B and soul music, into early Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and Procol Harum, and this was what was going on in my house growing up. So I had this extensive musical education thanks to my mom and my older brothers,
I love
and
that.
that's what
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what formed me, and that's what keeps me. That's who I am still to this day.
Yeah.
So if I hear like a song on the radio and it happens to be, Meshuggah, and I'm like, that is just great, or Tool or something
Oh,
like
I
that,
love
and
Maynard. Yeah, Maynard's
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, I love that. Hey, I
the
want.
whole band.
I'm sorry. I wanted to
The whole,
ask you this. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say that whole band is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a phenomenal band.
Yep.
Um, and so I could be listening to Tool and Meshuggah, and then hear a Gary Clark song that I love.
I love all those bands that you just mentioned. Tool has always been one of my favorites. Actually, a friend of mine's produced some of their albums. I want to ask you this: dead or
Uh,
alive, who is somebody that you would love to be on stage with that you've never been on stage with? That a dream of yours, somebody that is dead or alive that you say, man, I wish I could get on stage with that person.
Randy Rhoads.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah. Was there?
If I wouldn't even have to be playing guitar if I could just stand next to him
I
and
love
watch
it.
him perform.
I love it. Like
Uh,
as the guitar player that you are, like, do you even look at videos back in the day of like, say, like a Jimi Hendrix? Have you ever done that?
all the time, we Scotty, Rachel, and I go down the YouTube rabbit hole and send each other stuff from, like Hendrix doing a sound check somewhere, or like the Beatles goofing around and then breaking into like Let It Be, and or things of that nature, where you're like, the Stones. Keith Richards in his dressing room playing a brand new Karina Flying V,
Mhm.
and it's the epitome of cool, and old Kiss videos from 1974,
Yeah.
from midnight special and things like that.
Yep.
And those are the things that's the essence of who we are.
Sure.
And so you always go back to it at some point, and you always
Of course.
rediscover it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you
And
do that and you go on YouTube with your friends, and I just think that is so cool. Now, let me add something to that question, Snake. Form me
yeah,
your band, dead or alive. Give me your drummer. You're the guitar player. Give me your drummer. Give me your singer. Give me your bass player, and anybody else that if you had to form a band. I mean, I know you've got a great band right now, of course, with Skid Row. But if you had to form like your dream band, give me who that would be. I'm curious.
wow. Uh, Drummer would either be Cozy Powell or Neil Peart.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bass player would probably be Steve Harris.
Mm.
Um,
I got you thinking. I got you thinking now, Snake. I like
you
this.
sure do. I mean, a guitar player would be, there'd be so many. It'd be a revolving door. Randy Rhoads and Eddie and Jeff
Right.
Beck and Michael Schenker, and
Yeah.
the guitar players in Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, and I think my singer would probably be. This is a tough one. it would either be Janis Joplin
Oh, wow.
or Ronnie James Dio.
Oh, those are awesome. Those are, gosh, I think that's a band that I would want to go see. I think I would want to see them every day of the week.
Yeah, I would just want to manage them. I wouldn't want to play in the band. I would not be worthy of being a musician on that stage.
How has it changed for you in this era of cell phones? And seems like everybody has video. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been to some pretty interesting parties over the years in your life with your career. I can't even imagine. But like, has it changed a lot for you? Not necessarily age, just because we're in a day and age now where everybody's got a cell phone.
Oh, I mean, everything. Nothing is sacred anymore.
Yeah.
So you really have to be on guard about your behavior 24/7. And you know what? Oftentimes that's not a bad thing, because look, there was a lot of people getting away with a lot of crazy ass shit back in the day, and that they would, excuse my language, and they wouldn't have got away with that now. And you know, some of it is harmless, you know, hijinks, if you will. But some other stuff was, you know, it was really, really pushing the envelope of.
Can I ask you about that, Snake? What, without having to divulge too much, unless you want to, what would you say is the craziest party, the craziest atmosphere with maybe the most craziest people and big names you've ever been to in your entire career?
Well, here's the thing for me is I've never been the go to the party type of guy, to be honest. I'm a shot and beer guy. So I'm the guy that you'll see at a shot and beer joint down on the corner in some small little area. I was never the Hollywood and New York glitzy, red carpet, any of that stuff. I was never that guy. So I shied away from all of that. Any parties that I had that were crazy were parties that were at my house when I lived in New Jersey, or you know, parties in our hotel rooms when we were, you know, all still broke and you know, gathering up change from everybody to get a couple bottles of booze and whatnot. But we were, I never did drugs, so I was never that guy either. So I stayed away from that. Like that stuff, I didn't want to be around. So if I walked into a situation where I saw that going on, I turned around and left. It wasn't my thing.
Understood. What do you think? Who do you think is the most influential or most famous person you've ever met in your life because of who you are?
From a musical standpoint,
any
or from
standpoint,
a life standpoint,
any standpoint. It could be a former president. Who is somebody that you met and then you said to yourself, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just met that person because of who you are, because of your talent"?
Well, we were signed to Atlantic Records, and Ahmet Ertegun was the chairman, and he had such a storied, mythical history that when we met him, and that he was the one who initially gave the okay to sign Skid Row to Atlantic Records. Hanging out with him for however many times that I was able to, it was always a fascinating experience. He just had so much wisdom, and he essentially helped create the music business, which I've always been fascinated with. So him, there was a gentleman that we grew up with, that was a mentor to both myself and John, and his name was Al Parinello in Sayreville, New Jersey, and he left a big fingerprint on both of our lives. He was a great mentor. And then I have people, you know, that were big brothers in my life, like Doc McGee and like John and Scott McGee.
Right.
And then my friendship with all my idiot friends in New Jersey, but my brotherhood friendship with Rachel, which is seemingly after 37 years only gets stronger. So
cool. I love that. I mean, the people you've met over the years that have influenced you, and Skid Row and the band, of course. I love it.
All these bands that we toured with had monumental influence on us, because they were all of them were always so kind to us. You know, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, touring with Pantera.
How's Steven Tyler doing, by the way? I don't know if you talked to him. I know he got out of rehab, and it sounds like he's doing a lot better. I don't know if you talked to him. Have you heard anything?
I don't talk to him, but I did hear he's doing well.
Good,
so,
good. He's a
I mean,
great
that's all
guy.
we can hope for.
Great
Oh my
guy.
God,
I've
one of the best.
I've interviewed him several times, and he couldn't have been nicer to me. Steven Tyler is just a great dude, and we all know the talent that is Aerosmith. Incredible.